ladies and gentlemen. We're a couple minutes early. I'm just finishing up a couple technical things here, getting a few things wrapped up, coming at you from my garage here in Farmington. So give me just 2 minutes as I work with the team to make sure everything's spooled up and streaming just fine, and then we'll get into the show tonight. Alright, so I'm getting confirmation that I'm on. I'm going to cover a couple of housekeeping items here. We'll give folks a few minutes to get on, get logged in, get comfortable on the couch, that type of thing. A couple of shout outs here. Jacob Reinhardt in Cannon Falls just got off of work, and he is going to get home and get us streaming tonight. So thanks for tuning in, Jacob. My attire was specifically requested by my friend Kyle Hefner. He said, well, if you're going to get on, you got to make sure you got the jorts that you made. They're special because I made them. Got the New Balances. I did mow the lawn and weed whip today, so they got a fresh coat of green on them. And so those are keeping the old feet comfy as clouds right now for this live. So we got that cooking. Yeah, so I'm just pretty excited. It's just going to be myself tonight. A couple members of the team, Jason and Nicole, are out doing some work for their primary business for real estate auctions and getting some signs set, some trail cams, things like that. So they are on the road tonight. And then my buddy Brent up in Little Falls, he is going to be working in the background for me, helping get some questions going my way, that type of thing. So during the show, if you have questions, type them in on the video. I, of course, am not going to be monitoring it. I do one thing well at a time, and so Brent's going to get those to me after so I can answer questions as we kind of get wrapped up here at the end. So make sure to get those to Brent just by commenting on the video. So thank you, Brent, for doing that, and he'll be up in Little Falls tonight taking care of that. So we got a lot of cool stuff tonight. We got some giveaways to talk about, some contests to talk about, and some new products to the Fish House 360 website that I'm excited to reveal. There are some that I can't reveal. It's been kind of an ongoing fun part of this business to be in, to talk to folks who have one thing in the pipeline and then something in the dream box that is, I just talked to one guy recently who's got some patent paperwork that he's going back and forth with his patent attorney on, and it was just neat to hear what he's got coming up, and just some neat stuff that way, and then some products that are a little bit further on in traction. And I really think, I know we probably talk about this every week, but I really think Fish House 360 as a marketplace, as a group of people in promotional marketing for vendors big and small is well positioned to help that person with one idea who wants to get 10 ideas out to market but can just start with one. So it's just really a blessing to be a part of that. On the big scale end, special congratulations to Shauna and Corey Lindgren with Sven Sleeves. That product is, I think, under 2 years old, just right around that mark maybe, on the market, and they are in some huge retailers right now. They just spent a couple days road tripping, dropping off product. You've probably seen their posts on 360, on iCog, and some of the other groups. They have absolutely skyrocketed. It's been really fun watching their journey. I remember talking to Corey and Shauna when they were first rolling out the Sven Sleeves product, and it was something that was kind of already in the market in a different form, and they had, well, you know their story. They had something that was kind of the next best slice of loaf bread, if you will, loaf sliced bread, and they've done it. They're killing it. So congrats, Corey and Shauna, on a great product. This is obviously huge for you guys, and I'm excited to see what you have coming down the pipe too. So congratulations from all of us at Fish House 360 on a very nicely done execution of your product. So let's talk about contests and giveaways. Those are always fun things. Over here, to my right, your left, I have, it hasn't been named yet. It is the storage rack built by my friends at B&B Manufacturing, and we've got a naming convention going on. Brent Ambule just rolled that out today, And basically what Scott and Carrie at B&B have done is they've made this rack. It holds Plano tackle boxes. I think it's a 3700 series box, but don't quote me on that. And it holds 5 of them. And it was just an idea they had that they put together, and we don't for it. So we're running a contest for a month. November 4th, I think, that contest will terminate, and then Scott and Carrie are going to go through the list of names. Whoever gave the name that Scott and Carrie pick to officially apply to this product, one will get sent out to you. So get your friends in on it and get those names spooled out, and give Scott and Carrie something pretty cool to pick from. So I'm really excited about that, and tonight I'm using it as my tool stand, so it kind of works well for that too. Another mention is On The Go Flagpole. Julie and Dion Booz. That company's been around for a while. They are so generous. I think they support every event that I've ever heard of as far as giveaways. They support some extra causes on their own, and they are one of the companies that's involved in this industry that is always doing something above and beyond, whether it's for the Band of Brothers Outdoors group, whether it's for women and children, other charitable organizations like that. They're always doing something for that. And Brittany's Place is the big one they did last year, and raised quite a bit of money with Dion's excellent cooking that he did at the Ice Castle annual event in January. And so thank you to Julie and Dion for doing what you guys do to give back to the community. They've donated a flagpole to Fish House 360 for us to give out in some sort of contest format. They said once you hit 2,000 members, let's get that flagpole sent out. We're at 2,400 members, and so we got to send that out. So I want to pitch it out to you guys. What kind of contest do you want to see? You can throw some thoughts in the video here. You can throw them out on Fish House 360 group. What kind of contest do you want to see for somebody to win that flagpole? So I'll look forward to your ideas on that. And again, thank you, Julie and Dion, for your generosity. So let's get into what I want to go over tonight, and that is generator maintenance. You've seen a picture of my Honda 2000. I'm a Honda guy. I have nothing against any other brand. This is just what I bought when I first got my Ice Castle. I've got a 2000 and then a 2200 Companion. The 2200 Companion was a great purchase because it rides around in the truck with me all winter, acting as a second or a backup generator for me. In the summer, I try to find campsites that I have shore power on. Sometimes you can't find that. When I'm at Oshkosh, I've got to run both generators together so I can run my air conditioning unit, and I've got the Berg extended run fuel system for my generators. And so it's just a dynamic combo running the 2000 and the 2200. There is a lot of conversation year-round. I don't think it's seasonally dependent. People are asking year-round about generators, maintenance, fuel, oil, and I thought, let's kind of go through a live maintenance thing tonight. And so we're going to do an oil change, a spark plug change. We'll talk a little bit about fuel. And I guess as the disclaimer, I am not a Honda mechanic. So if there's questions I can't answer, I'm going to be honest about I can't answer that. I'm just going to go through what I do seasonally or per Honda's recommendations for hours of use on what the maintenance should be. So this is my 2000 here, and a couple preface items. Before I change oil in it, I always run it for a couple minutes, 2-3 minutes, just to warm things up. I always run synthetic oil, so it's thin anyways, but I just think warming it up is going to help get things moving just a little bit better. So earlier today, I did warm it up. I actually drained that oil, and so that we could just go through adding the fresh oil in the live show tonight. So this is my access panel here on this side, and there's just a quick screw that I can take out here, and the access panel comes off. That's going to reveal my oil change port here. There's also air filter, great maintenance item. Something to check on is the air filter. And one thing that I did is, there's only so many things I can remember, so I decided I'm going to write what oil I use, the weight, obviously it's synthetic, and the capacity. So Honda recommends for this generator 0.42 quarts or about 13.44, 13.5 ounces. So that way I've got it right here inside the cover. That's going with me all the time. So just something to make my life a little bit easier. So here's the oil change cover here.
Again, that's empty, so that's going to be pretty dry. You'll notice these are not factory supplied by Honda. This was an aftermarket kit I bought. Has a magnetic tip in it. It's got kind of a nice anodized aluminum plug here with a knurled handle there, so it's easy to pull out. So that makes it pretty easy. And then in that kit, I want to say this kit ran about $20, something like that. One of the common complaints with Honda, or at least these generators, is that it's kind of about a 2-inch inset where the oil drain hole is. And so this kit has a little funnel, if we could call it that just extends that out so that I don't make a mess inside my machine. So that just threads nice and easy in there. As a side note, and now that I've got that one threaded in, the 2200, it looks impressively large compared to the 2000, just a little bit bigger ID on that. I take these with in my ice castle. There was a guy that commented earlier today when I proposed this thought for the show tonight, and his comment really resonated with me. He said, it's amazing how many people don't take extra oil, extra spark plugs. We try to take one, or if you're Scott Bonger's, 10 of everything extra onto the ice with you or camping with you. But yeah, I mean, it's story after story in the winter of guys' generators freezing up. They have some sort of issue, water in the oil, moisture in the oil. And so having an extra quart out on the ice or two, having an extra spark plug, and then having the oil change kit to make things really easy to do is just a great idea. So these ride around with me all year long in my kit that I did a video on, I don't know, probably a month or two ago, just on kind of what I bring with me for my backup or emergency kit. So we get the funnel screwed in there, and that's just going to give me easy access to that oil port. Now, I'm not sponsored by AMSOIL. There's 1,000 good types of oil. My local Napa Auto Parts store stocks this AMSOIL small engine. It's a synthetic oil. It's a 10W30, and I have a good supply. Jim Ekman threatens to bring all of his generators over because I've got so much oil. But I think the problem is, maybe you guys shop like I do. You get to Napa, you need one thing, and you think, do I have that generator oil at home? I better just pick up a bottle. And then you end up with 4 bottles plus an extra one in the ice castle. So hopefully my wife will remind me next time I don't need more generator oil. But either way, so I carry at least 1 bottle in addition with me on my trips. It goes with me all the time. I have it pre-measured out, so about 13.5 ounces is what goes in here. What I found, I'm not sure if it's a rule of thumb or if it's standard in the small engine industry, what I found with this generator is that 13.5 ounces brings my oil right up to the fill level with the top of the threads where the oil drain port is. And so if I am going to overfill it, my best bet would be to just let it drain until it's done draining. Stories happen, guys, tip their generators way back and they just dump about 2 quarts oil or however much they can jam in there, crank that plug on, and then the thing's going to run like crap. It's not going to run. If you get it to run, something may happen that is an unintended negative consequence for running it with too much oil. And these generators are kind of oil sensitive, being high or low. There's a lot of conversation about that. So again, I just have it pre-measured out to make it easy for here. And so I'm going to go ahead and fill this up, and it just goes in nice and easy. Again, I've been fortunate to never have to do this on the ice, but again, now that I say that, one of my trips this year, I'm going to end up getting stuck doing this on the ice, and I'm going to be glad that I have the kit. So you can see I do have this generator tipped back, not so that I can overfill it, but just so that I can hit that oil fill port pretty easy there, and pour it in. I don't like making a mess out of my equipment, best I can manage. So we'll go slow, no rush here, and get that oil in there. Again, it's the synthetic oils treated me well. I've, like everybody that's probably logged in and watching here, we've run our generators in just some pretty extreme conditions. This last year I was up on Lake of the Woods. It was one of the weekends in February, and my truck registered 35 below ambient, and the winds were blowing, 25, 30 miles an hour. And, I happen to run my generator in the back of my truck. I've got the truck cap on it, the topper on it, and just had the one downwind window open, and this thing just hummed all weekend. Stayed nice and warm in there. I've run them out on the ice. I know some guys, I think Jason and Brent both have the Cozy Gen Dens or whatever that box is that's made to sit on the ice. I think that's a great product. I just run mine in the back of my truck, and it runs great. And everybody's got their opinion on what to do, and I'm not here to say that my angle is better or worse than anybody else's. It's just what I do, and knock on some wood, I've been fortunate to steer clear of generator issues doing that process, so that's what I'm going to repeat. So I'm going to let the oil settle in there, and then we'll pull this filler neck off here. We'll get that out of the way. And it's not going to be possible probably for you to see from there, but that oil does come right up about to the end of those threads. And then I'm going to take, again, this aftermarket oil plug here and just thread that back in. I do also, because I have them, carry my factory oil plugs with me in case something were to happen to this. I drop it in the snow, whatever the case might be. My factory oil plugs are also in my ice castle all year round. So the oil's done, and that was pretty easy. Then I'm going to quick check the air filter. A lot of guys, I've never done this, but a lot of guys have talked about taking their air filter out for winter use because you're not really dealing with dust and that type of thing in the winter, of course. I've never done that. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but I just leave my filter in all year round. And I understand maybe in some conditions it can ice up, that type of thing. I've just been fortunate, again, knock on wood, to not have run into that. So I'll check the filter, make sure it's not full of grass, debris, crap, that type of thing, and everything looks really good there. And so I will just put this back together. Honda did a really nice job making things relatively accessible. Now, my brother runs a small engine service, and I'm going to put in a shameless plug for him. Small engine service based out of Welch, Minnesota. For those of you outside the cities, he's based like 10 minutes outside of Red Wing, if that gives you some perspective. And he rebuilt, I had a Honda 3000 years ago, and he rebuilt that. And boy, tearing that thing down was a challenge. It's so compact, it's so heavily insulated for noise suppression, that type of thing. And so for the small engine mechanic, the guy that's going to tear this down, yeah, you got to have little fingers and good tools and probably more patience than I was equipped with or am equipped with to do that job. So that's why he's the mechanic, and I'm just the I can change the oil guy. But they make this stuff really easily accessible to get to for your standard do-it-yourself or maintenance guy. So make sure that my screw's tight on that air cap or air filter cap. Make sure that my oil plug is tight there, and then we'll put this back on. So that's kind of the rundown on changing the oil. Now I'm going to pop to the backside here. Because I just want to talk about spark plugs quick. People overlook spark plugs. They forget they exist, whatever the case is, and then they come out looking just terrible. So my habit is every time I change the oil, I change a spark plug. Spark plugs are cheap. I like cheap insurance, and a fouled plug is going to cause me a lot of trouble, a lot more trouble than I want to get into up on Lake of the Woods, Mille Lacs, Red Lake, whatever. So I'm not here to give an opinion on what a terribly fouled plug is, or a plug that's crap, or a plug that looks great. But this plug has run for the summer for me, and I won't get her too close there. But it's a little bit dark. I think my brother might say that doesn't look terrible. But I have a brand new one, so I just changed my oil. So I'm going to put the brand new one in, and these things are cheap enough. I can throw it away. I can keep it as a backup and kind of do what I want. So I'll get the new plug and I'll put it in here. I'm not a metals expert, but steel and aluminum, there's one metal that's soft and one metal that is not as soft. And so be careful not to cross thread your spark plug down into the top side of the cylinder there and then run it down with your impact. That's a poor idea. So finger tight is good. And then I'm just going to put, I'll probably put a quarter Ooga on that just to snug it into place there. Spark plug cap goes back on. And again, I'm sorry that you guys can't see. I just don't want to muscle this whole thing around for the sake of the show tonight. But again, the spark plug, very easily accessible. And that spark plug wrench is a 5/8 socket for that one. And just like I did for my oil type, I put my plug number right on the inside of the plug cover. That way, I don't have to guess when I get to Napa or O'Reilly as far as what type of plug that I need. And again, I always have at least one extra plug with me. I do a plug every time I do oil. It's just really, really cheap insurance. So the process after changing the oil, putting the new plug in, again, we're getting into hard water season, so I'm not going to prep this unit to just sit as I would if I were going to let it sit for a few months over the summer. But what I would do is to get it going is just start it up, let it run a little bit, get some fuel cycled through, get that oil warmed up, kind of everything locked and loaded there, and then put it away and eventually get it in the truck here in probably the nature of 2 months will be kind of our plan. So I mentioned fuel just very briefly, and I'm not a fuels expert, but I do know that I have run this generator hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. In between seasons, it's sat with no issues. I always run non-oxygenated fuel. Non-oxy is not the same as premium fuel. Premium fuel is great, but I always run non-oxygenated fuel, and I think I've seen that same message shared by just about every small engines guy that I've talked to, and of course I'm related to one, so it's a pretty easy wealth of information there, my brother. So I would encourage you. It's of course more expensive. Some guys say, well, I'll just run pump gas if I'm going to run a whole tank through it in a weekend, and I guess that's fine. That's your equipment. In the realm of expense of what we're going to go do fishing, we're entering a risky hobby anyways. I'm driving out on Lake of the Woods. I'm driving 20, sometimes 26 miles out, I think was my furthest trip this year. And to spend a few more bucks for some fuel that is going to work the best in this engine is money very well spent when I'm that far out on Lake of the Woods. So again, that's just my plea is, non-oxygenated fuel is, in my opinion, the right fuel for the generator. Again, the synthetic oil is going to be, in my opinion, the best oil, and but again, that's just John's opinion. So that's what I run in the generator when I'm running it. It's a non-oxygenated fuel, synthetic oil, 1030 for that, and then a new spark plug every time. And some guys they'll run Seafoam, maybe through that first tank in the beginning of the season. That hasn't been a habit of mine. Again, doesn't make it right, wrong, or otherwise, but it's one of those things that is that can be a good idea, and it's, I guess that would be up to each individual's opinion. So that is changing the oil in the generator. Like I said, I've got this funky looking red gas cap here. That thing's on there pretty good. This is that Berg extended run system cap, and this comes with a kit with the 6-gallon boat gas tank and then a hose. And this goes on these screws on here. These Honda generators have internal fuel pumps, so it will actually draw a vacuum on the fuel tank. It's talked a lot about. Let's leave that off for now. It's talked a lot about in the forums, guys looking for extended run systems, extended run opportunities for the generators that don't have an internal fuel pump. A guy has to have some sort of fuel tank elevated, bulb that you squeeze, get that gravity flowing the fuel, and then that's how you fill the supply the generator. These Hondas, gravity isn't really an issue with that, with this Berg extended run system. Now, again, I carry my factory gas caps with me. There are stories that I've read on ICOG, on Fish House 360, Ice Castle Outlaws, that guys have some sort of issue with their extended run system. Well, with this cap, it is vacuum tight on there, and if I were to run this without my fuel tank system plugged into it, I'm only going to get so far, and then it's going to draw a vacuum on that fuel tank, and I'm going to be all done running. So if that were to be the case, I would just put my factory fuel cap back on, and they're vented, and it's how it's made to run. So again, just a point of interest with that. A couple other things I'd like to cover, and then I'll get to questions. I'll see if Brent sent me anything here as far as questions to cover. I mentioned kind of in the before getting into this that we've got some new products on Fish House 360. And it has been a ton of fun talking to folks that are saying, hey, I got that vendor registration filled out, and what next? I'm getting products on there. We have Amy Lynn Designs. She made the rugs, the I Shopped at Fish House 360 rugs that Brent gave out at the Land Castle event. And so she's got some stuff coming up on Fish House 360. Coming down the pipe here, Ice Defense, Cold Nation Outdoors. I'll be doing a big product demo with those guys coming down the road. That's a unit that keeps your hole free of ice through an impeller product. So keep an eye out for that. As a supplement or complement product to that, I just talked with Barrett Keith. He's a college student actually at the School of Mines and Technology in Rapid City, South Dakota, and he developed Rapid Power Boxes. The guys at Cold Nation Outdoors, we were talking about power supplies. They're in the run and gun market. I'm in the wheelhouse market. We're trying to figure out how to merge their product or adopt it into the wheelhouse market and do a good job of that. And Pete Scholl, their marketing guy at Cold Nation Outdoors, had just mentioned this concept of a power box, and I've never owned one. So I've seen him kind of share it around, so I connected with Barrett, and super bright kid. I mean, got brains that I couldn't even think of having as far as design and wiring and engineering. I mean, I'm pretty inspired, being surrounded by folks like Barrett, especially young kids that are, up and coming and entrepreneurial mindset. And so he shared with me, what his power box is, and actually he'll be in on a live here sometime in October. We'll get him in so he can share his story. But I realized I'm going to need one of these power boxes, and so we're going to have the Ice Defense system powered by the Rapid Power Box. So I'd highly encourage you to check out the Ice Defense system. It's a really neat product. And then as a complement to that, check out that Rapid Power Box. They're not used, of course, that mobile power just for ice defense. It can charge phones. It could charge any item you're out and about. Barrett was telling me in the side-by-side ATV industry, these guys grab a power box and they've got a big speaker in it, and they'll go blasting down trails with their side-by-sides, find a place to have lunch, and they can have their music with their power, charge their phones, and that type of thing. So really neat to just kind of think about the different applications of a product like that. And again, something that I'm not smart enough to design, so I got to surround myself with the people that are smart enough to do that. So it's just been great to get to know Barrett, get to know Pete with Cold Nation. And then one other shout out I wanted to make, I started doing a video for wheel bearing maintenance, because that's been a product or a topic of conversation rather, and it's a project I've done many times on my Ice Castle. I do my wheel bearing service twice a year. Degrease them, clean everything up, new bearing seals. It's probably overkill, but Ice Castle recommends for my house every 2,500 miles, and I do about 6,000 to 7,000 miles a year on it, and so it makes sense. Pulled mine off. My brakes were, let's just say, not in good shape, and so I had kind of tried to shop locally to see, is this something I could get these drum brakes with the electric brakes set up. Literally, the automotive stores here in town laughed at me. They said, "You're never going to find those." Well, I'll tell you where you can find them. Neil Cole, who actually built my Ice Castle, built the frame, CW Welding. I called him up and I just said, "Hey, how does a guy get his hands on these?" And that night, Neil took my credit card number. I think it was the next day or the day later, Speedy showed up at my house with my brakes on the doorstep. So thank you, Neil, for getting those to me really quick. It's nice to have a guy like that has the inventory on hand and has intimate knowledge of my trailer, because he built it, so there was no question mark of what I needed to put on for brakes. So thanks, Neil. I really appreciate you getting me those brakes, and quick. And it was a good price too. He didn't try to take advantage of a situation of supply chain. So I appreciate that. And so I guess that's what I got for new products. Again, there are more coming down the pipe. the exciting stuff or some things I've mentioned, and then things I can't mention yet. But I'm going to turn it over to questions now. So give me a sec to just check my computer and see if Brent has shot anything my way. I'll answer those questions here to the best of my ability, and then if that's what we have, then we'll wrap her up for tonight. So just give me a sec. All right, Mr. Stevenson, Jim Stevenson. Very quick shout out. Jim has been in the ice fishing industry for a long time and just joined our pro staff here within the last 6 weeks or so. Maybe it's been 2 months now. And the guy's a wealth of information. But Jim asked, do I run an additive? He didn't provide specification on oil or fuel, so I'm going to guess. I'll speak to both of them. I don't run any special additives. I mentioned Seafoam, that some guys run Seafoam. I am a straight non-oxygenated fuel guy for my fuel, and then my oil is the AMSOIL 1030 small engine stuff, and I just run that straight. So I guess I would be open to be educated. We can take this conversation down through the comments in the video, or somebody can private message me, it'd be fine too. Or let's start a thread on Fish House 360, either the group or marketplace, and talk about that, because I think whether person A agrees or disagrees with person B, somewhere in that conversation there's something to be learned, and my system isn't perfect, it just works well for me. So again, no specific additives that I run as a habit, but I'm all ears, certainly, if somebody has a better answer to that question than what I do. So that looks like that question, and again, I'll put one additional prop out for the gentleman that started the conversation earlier about taking spare stuff with you out on the ice. It's really cheap insurance to take one extra spark plug, maybe two with you. Obviously, my insurance is a whole second generator, but that's easy for me to do since I already have them. So definitely take the oil, definitely take the spark plugs, and then take whatever tools you're going to need. I have a pretty cheap Craftsman toolkit that just rides around in the ice castle, and it's got just about everything I would need, as far as hand tools to service my ice castle, service my generators, and that type of thing. So I just want to make stuff easy on myself. What's really easy is doing maintenance in my garage or my driveway when it's 70 degrees and sunny. But if I have to work on it out on the ice, I want to make sure I've got the tools and the supplies to do that. And I guess one final thing is we had 80-something new members join Fish House 360 this week. It is my perspective that we are on a steep climb right now, with vendors getting products on fishhouse360.com, with members joining the group. I think that's going to be great for stimulation of conversation, troubleshooting, stuff like this. Talking about new products and kind of vetting things out is what we're here for, and really create that community and that marketplace. And so welcome to the 80 plus new members that just jumped on this week. And to those of you who did just get on, invite your friends. Let's get them naming this yet to be named tackle stack, I think, was one that I saw in there. I kind of like that. And then somebody else had jewelry box was another name that caught my eye. So I'll have to go through that list again on the Fish House 360 group and see what folks are coming up with that name. Again, I don't get to pick it. That's up to Scott and Carrie from B&B. But keep those ideas coming. Invite friends, and then support the vendors. I would ask that too. The folks that are making products to put on the site. Again, like Barrett, Rapid Power Boxes, College Kid. I think his power box is almost 100% USA made, even down to the wires, the fittings, the plugs, adapters, the batteries themselves are made right here in the USA. He feels strongly about that. I was very encouraging to him. I said, our community feels very strongly about made in the USA and made local. Like my buddy Kyle said last week, he said, I want to buy something that's made the next county over. I don't want to just sit and order stuff on Amazon. And so, we're keeping our friends and family and neighbors employed by doing this stuff and promoting that entrepreneurial mindset. So keep up with that, keep supporting these folks, and they're changing their family tree in maybe small ways to start with, and then big ways like the big Sven Sleeves week they had this week. So it's fun to be part of this industry, fun to be part of this community. I appreciate you guys sharing a little bit of your Friday night with me. Holler with any questions, and I didn't see anything else come in from Brent there, so I will let you get back to your night, and we will touch base next week. We'll have another good show for you. So have a great week and a restful weekend. We'll see ya.